Hello, Marco. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Kais, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. I'm glad to meet with you again. This is our series to talk between Poodle and Markanyx. For those who weren't following us, so Markanyx is an edtech company based in Canada. We provide online learning and training and certification solutions for different industries, including the educational industry. Can you tell us a little bit about Poodle? What is
Yes,
Poodle?
Poodle is a company based in Nagasaki, Japan, and we provide software solutions for universities and schools and institutions who provide training, and we focus especially on language training.
Perfect. So that might be the reason we partnered then.
Definitely.
So Poodle is a solution. You said, what would be the platform I need in order to use Poodle, if there's a required platform?
Yes, you if you're already a Moodle user, you can purchase our software inside Moodle, or if you are just new to this world, we can provide you the all the tools that you need for your school or for your institution to create your contents.
Perfect. And for those who don't know what Moodle is a learning management system. It is used across the world for different reasons, but a lot for education. And you have a lot of school districts, high schools, and higher education institutions that use Moodle. So, as you said, Marco, if you have Moodle, it's really easy to have Poodle because it's a product that integrates seamlessly and people can install it and start using it. So, if we are interested in installing Poodle and starting our experience or journey, can you tell us a little bit more? How can we find the best solution for us? Because we know Poodle is uh, multiple solutions, so it's a suite. Can you describe it as a suite of tools?
Definitely.
Yeah. So can you tell us more about this suite of tools so we know how to choose and how to choose the best tool for what we need?
Yeah, because we all have different needs, we offer different solutions. For example, some people require audio and video recording inside the learning management system inside Moodle, and we provide it. We offer up to like 45 minutes of video recording. That is actually too much for a feedback or a homework, but that is like a number we have. So people have an idea if they want to provide a longer feedback or a longer homework, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We bring that service, we provide that service, and we also do transcription from those audio and videos. In the case the teacher is checking all the homeworks, he's going to have the list of students, the recording either in video or audio, and he's also going to be able to see the transcript of that video, and it's very accurate as well. That's one solution. The other solution for other type of institutions like language schools, we offer something called Poodll Languages, which
Mhm.
is a set of 4 different plugins that aim to solve 4 different solutions. One could be pronunciation, vocabulary learning, grammar, or fluency. When you're asked a question, then you don't know what to say. You start talking as you would do it with another person, and our engine is going to show you a feedback on your answer. So if you made a mistake, it's going to cross it out and suggest you should have said it like this. And there is another tool that for teachers is really interesting, which is called Poodle Mini Lesson. And in Mini Lesson, the teacher can easily create a task using a video or a recording or a reading passage, and then he can ask questions for multiple choice. And these questions can be answered just by clicking, like a normal question, or the student can listen to the answers, and sometimes he can speak the answers, and our microphone or the microphone is going to pick up what the student says, and we're going to contrast that answer with the right answer. So it's very easy for a teacher to create an activity with mini lesson.
That sounds actually great, and I've tried some of them myself. So I'm a fan of some of the features, and we can get to that later. But it would be great if you could show us exactly how it looks like. But
Absolutely.
to get something straight, some of the features, if not all, are have instant feedback, and it's all generated automatically. So that saves the teacher's time, because if you're getting the tests corrected instantly, or somebody's speech is corrected instantly and grammar is corrected instantly, then that relieves the teacher from a lot of work. Can you comment on
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Not only can the teacher save time using the automatic evaluation that we offer, but the student will also learn instantaneously. Like if he says something and he notices that there is a mistake, he will learn. Sometimes what happened in the past, let's say, and even nowadays, is that the teacher asks the student to do an assignment, then he does, and like 8 days later, he receives a feedback, just said Poodle, or and it should have been something different, and the student is like, okay, but it's not as memorable as when you have the feedback instantaneous. So that's also very valuable from the learner's point of view.
So it's a win for all, basically.
Yes, and regarding teacher saving time, it is a hassle for a teacher to grade 40 students per class and then having multiple classes. It's going to take a lot of time. Now, when we uh, take care of grading those feedbacks, the students are going to learn more, and then when there is a class, then the teacher will be evaluating the student in a different level because the student has already received feedback, so he's more likely to learn um, like in greater detail than just having that first uh, comment or that feedback from the teacher. Does it make sense?
Absolutely. And I think there's a gamified aspect also in the usage of Poodle, which makes it also in user friendly and also intuitive. So definitely adds to the experience, in my opinion.
Yes. So let me share my screen.
Perfect. I'm also a visual person, like a lot of people. So the better, the more screen you share, and by showing us, it's exactly what we're looking for. So one of my favorites, do you want to start with a specific activity, or can I have a request?
Yeah, yeah, just ask.
Okay. The read aloud is actually one of my favorites. If we could start with that one.
So read aloud, it's also the one that I found first from Poodle, and it has two things that are very important for me. The first one is that I myself learned English doing this methodology. I didn't had an automatic engine providing me feedback. I had to go to a library and listen to an audiobook, and then I would just try to repeat what the guy from the audiobook was saying. But here is the same principle, but with technology behind. And on the other hand, to create one of these activities, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes. And I'm exaggerating. Yeah, it's more. It's not going to be more than 5 minutes, and a lot of students are going to benefit receiving each individual feedback. That's awesome. So let's take a look at the first one, the lion. It has, in this case, three activities.
Mhm.
The first one is listen, then the students hit play.
In a forest there lived a lion. He had grown old and could not run fast anymore.
So there are two elements here. The first one is that the sentence that they were reading is being highlighted, and the second one is the pace. Because they are learning a foreign language, then if it is too fast, the student is not going to be able to follow the normal pace.
Mhm.
So we have three different speeds: normal for, let's say, advanced students, slow, which is this one, and very slow for people who wants to do it like that. So
All right.
they just listen and this is the first contact they have with the passage. In the second one, they get to practice sentence by sentence.
In a forest there lived a lion.
And I'm going to make one mistake to see how this works. In a forest, there was a lion. So
instantly we can see that you made a mistake and it's highlighted in red.
Yeah, and then the student can listen to what he said. In a forest, there was a lion. And here to the right pronunciation, the right sample.
In a forest there lived a lion.
And try again. In a forest, there lived a lion.
He had grown old and could not run fast anymore.
And I have done this exercise with a handful of students, and they all like it because it's very engaging, as you were saying.
Exactly. So having the student's perspective helps a lot, and it's a fun exercise to have.
Yes, and in the last one, read, then they would just start reading. In a forest, there lived a lion. He had grown old and could not run fast anymore. And we take around 45 seconds to process this passage. It really depends on the length of the reading, but it's around 45 seconds, and it provides the feedback for the teacher. So in the grade book, the teacher is going to be able to see all the students and the grade they got after doing the activity.
Okay, and without getting too much into details or getting too technical, but if somebody is asking, well, maybe I want the correction to be a little more lenient or a little bit more strict, how would you comment on that?
We have two engines. One that is, we call it generous for, again, A1 students. We know that they're going to make a lot of mistakes, but so that one is generous. And for more advanced students, we have another engine that is more strict, as you were saying. So it focuses a lot on receiving the right pronunciation. So it is more likely to generate more errors from what the students are saying. And it's very convenient for different levels.
Perfect. And now I can see that you have the results coming in. So that's your score there. That's 2 words per minute, 200 words per minute.
Well, that was the
amazing.
Average. I know, right? 104 words per minute, but it didn't grade all these gray highlighted section, just the first one, and there was no error in the pronunciation. If there had been an error, we would see red in here. Let's say that this is red, and I can click on the word, on any word.
Grown.
I can listen to pronunciation, and I can listen to the way I said it. It would just start reading. In a forest, there lived a lion. He had grown old. And so you can, or the student can contrast from what he said to versus the correct pronunciation.
That's perfect. That's great. That's why I'm a fan of this activity, actually, because it has the reading, the speaking, and it's automatically graded or instantly graded. So if you're a student, it's really nice. Sometimes we can be a little bit ashamed of speaking in front of someone, especially learning a new language. So when you're talking to a machine, that sort of removes the shame or the embarrassment.
Yeah, that is also another important aspect that you can get to practice, and when you're in school, you can be more confident.
Exactly. So generally, we're more confident when we know more the language and we have more words in our vocabulary. So if I'm a teacher and I want my kids or my students to learn more words, would you have a tool to suggest for that?
Yes, we do. We have created one called word cards. In word cards, we also, let's explore this one, the ABC. In the ABC, let me show you two aspects from here. The first one is the vocabulary that you want your students to learn. And we have a model sentence and a definition. So hard, round, red or green fruit with a white center. How can teachers add the vocabulary here? We have something called word wizard. And in the word wizard, we write apple, tiger, let's say, and cat. We click on fetch definitions and they just click on use, and use the cat, the definition that they want, and boom, it is created. So it's very, very fast to create. And if they want to personalize the activity with images, they can upload the images they want. And something really cool about these word cards is this button. When they click here, they're going to listen to the word in context.
And what we're left with after removing all the apples, and what we're left with after removing
30 feet square with rotting apple cores.
So they can hear native speakers pronouncing the word in a little bit of context. So here, this is a slightly complex exercise for the technical perspective, but it's already created, so it's easy for teachers to use, and it's easy for students to learn vocabulary. So they are learning the vocabulary. So we have the ABCs activity. So balloon is the next one. Cat.
Cat.
We also have a speaker here.
I have one dog and one black cat that I keep as pets.
And then the cat, household pet with 4 legs and a long tail. So in this first step, they are just learning the vocabulary. And then here we have added something called if they learn the activity. So here the student has not studied balloon, has not studied all these words, and he is in the process of learning this word. How do we know that he has learned the word? Because the student has interacted with that word 5 times, 7 times. The teacher can set that up. Or if it is 7 times, let's say, or 5, and the student completed the 5 times, we assume that the word has been learned. This, from a measurement point of view, is very, very interesting. And that is just the first part. So let me go to the student role, and this is exactly how a student is going to see the activity. We have the beginning, start, practice, practice. So we already know some vocabulary here. So let's continue. If you continue, your previous attempt will be replaced. Try again. Continue, cancel. Yeah. Actually, I just wanted you to show you how the steps by step activity looks. Oh, what is it like? So let's go back to my normal role. Here I can jump. So it's
before we move forward, you mentioned a bit earlier that it's a bit of complex to set up. Did you mean this on the teacher's side of things?
No, I said from the technical point of view, like when we created this activity, it's not something that you do overnight. It requires some time and thought to put into it. And we already did that, the hard part. Now the teacher can just add the words very easily, as I showed you using the word wizard. He chooses the definition and the activity is entirely created. It's very easy to create activity. That's what I meant.
So in other words, you have the structure ready. And if I'm a teacher, I can go in, remove the words I don't like. Maybe I don't like to teach them about apples and fish because they know that already. And I can put other things that are specific to a certain context or subject that we're trying to study.
Yes.
Perfect.
And because we have a dictionary here, you can fetch definitions from this dictionary, or you can add your own definitions, which is very interesting.
Perfect, because that's a question that I could see the question popping when somebody says, well, I don't care about dogs or apples, but this is what we're studying, this is what we're focusing on, and it's history maybe, or it's something very specific, like foods or like cultural foods, and then you need to be able to customize that as a teacher to your specific audience. So having that
Yes.
structure that is ready and then putting your own content, which wouldn't be too hard to get, would help a lot, I think.
And we have different practice exercises, and those practice are going to be the 5 or 3 words or 7 words that the student needs to learn, but they are all different. And because they are different, they are engaging. So this one, the first one, we have, I call this question like a normal type of question, curved line of colors in the sky, so we know it's a rainbow. But the type of question, let's call it a normal question. So that's an apple. Let's look at a different one. So the concept is always the same, rainbow tree, begin. So this one is for spelling. That's sun, enter. If I make a mistake, let's say moon, moons. Oh, it's not moon. Oh,
It is the moon.
I click on the S, then
Oh.
that's why it shows us something red. That like that. Tall
Right.
green plant. So I'm going to write, oh, TH doesn't let me. Tree. That's more spelling. Another type of exercise. Listen.
Queen.
Queen. Another
Nest.
one. So queen. It's not the right word.
Yeah.
Moon. Oh. Sometimes fails. Let's skip this one. Moon. Nest. There you go.
All right.
That's very, I really like this activity, and now that we're in this point, I like to say that in a way Poodle focuses a lot on pronunciation. You have different videos on YouTube to learn a language, but in a way you want your students to be able to speak the language, and with Poodle they can speak the language. As you can see in different activities here, we're just learning vocabulary, but at the same time we're practicing speaking.
And you mentioned earlier you could see how the word is pronounced by a native speaker. So those videos were prepared by you when you prepared the activity. Is that right?
No, the engine picks up the word that you want your students to learn, and it searches for those videos that contain the word. So in the example of balloon, it could be a hot air balloon. It's not the balloon that we were discussing, but that's how it is pronounced. So that's how it works.
So if I'm a teacher, then updating the activity with my own specific content, I don't have to worry about the videos because the engine will search for the videos for me.
Yes, and saves you a lot of time.
Perfect. All right, let's see more.
That's the activity for learning vocabulary.
Okay, so now we've seen word cards, and we've seen read aloud. And these are so we had for both from Poodll Languages. We didn't look at anything from Poodll Media. Should we go through the rest of activities in Poodll Languages, or do you want to show us maybe the solo from oh, that's still Poodll Languages.
Yeah, we have 2 more Poodle Languages activities, mini lesson, where the teacher can create an activity with multiple questions. And I think this one is like an exam where you have your students read a text and then you ask question 1, question 2, question 3, and creating activities like for the TOEFL preparation. The TOEFL includes reading a passage, then listening people discussing the passage, and then they ask you questions. And sometimes they ask you to give your opinion on a different topic. So the technology on mini lesson enables teachers to create complex activities for the students, and in a way that is important because the world is complex. You know, sometimes you're in a meeting and you need to participate, giving your opinion, and this opinion could be different from what your boss is saying, but you need to be able to express that opinion without being rude, and doing exercises similar to the one in the TOEFL can let the students learn those skills. That's
Can we
why
have a quick look? Because I think one of the things I was going to mention, but you were quick to jump to TOEFL. Like placement tests are a big thing, and if we could have people prepare placement tests through Poodle, that's a really good situation to look at.
Yeah, we actually have already one exam, the TOEFL exam. If and I like to show it to you because it's very interesting. It's very complex in the way that if you had just Moodle or an LMS, or as we were discussing in the first video, WordPress, you had no chance of doing something like the TOEFL because of the complexity of the questions. So let's look for the TOEFL course. And here we have mini lesson. This is question 1. Try again. So let's take a look at how complex or not complex. You will tell me at the end if it is complex or not. It is. It says, please listen carefully. After listening, you will answer questions about what you heard. The speaker will answer the following question. So let's listen. Oh, actually, answer the following question. Name a skill you have learned and explain why it is important to you. Include details and examples to support your explanation. So the speaker is going to answer that question. We'll listen.
I have learned to touch type, a skill that is important in school. Touch typing is a technique that uses the sense of touch.
So he goes on talking about what touch type is, and this button is different from just reading this that we can also do, but for the complexity of this exam, we're going to add a different audio. So next question. Here, the student is not going to be able to read the questions because we want to practice listening, because we want to focus on learning languages. Listen to the question, then choose the correct answer. So the question is also in listening. So the first, it's because of the way this particular exam was created. So just listening.
Where should people look when they touch type?
At their fingers.
And then they choose the answer. At the screen is the right answer. So that is one example of doing a complex activity. Let me go back to show you a different type of activity from this exam simulator that we have. Mini lesson. The speaker will answer the following question. Some students prefer to do group projects or prefer to do individual projects. Which kind of projects do you think produce more learning and why?
While many students prefer to work as a group on projects.
So we already know how this goes. And this type of questions, okay, this is also listening. Let's take a look at here. For mini lesson, in this example, the input is going to be a video. And then the questions are like normal questions. What was the lady doing at the start of the video? So she was like, I think, cooking bacon. And then listening in the answers. So we can listen here.
She quickly ate it.
Let's say it's that one. So with contrast. And this is actually one of my favorite ones, because if the student clicks in here,
he ate too much bacon.
It's not going to choose the answer. He needs to be able to read, or in this case, repeat what the answer is.
He was tired.
Let's say that one. He was tired. So the machine noticed that I said B, but it showed us also that the answer was D. And that is very interesting. So this is just listen and repeat.
The woman was cooking bacon.
The woman was eating bacon, let's say. And here it says that I didn't say it right. And it says exactly in what word I made the mistake. Next one, more of speaking. The woman was cooking bacon. And the last one, and type what you hear.
The woman was cooking bacon. She started to eat the bacon.
She started to eat the bacon. So, as you can see, we have different types of questions, but it can also let the teacher use his or her imagination. to what type of exercise, because if he wants, here we saw a picture in number 1, and it could be a reading passage easily, and then ask comprehension questions like this is an image, but the teacher can add an entire text and then ask questions based on the text. And it's
Precisely.
very
So
convenient for a teacher to create like such activities. Doing something in Moodle like this, I've never seen anything as convenient for a teacher to do it as Poodle.
Right. So the good thing is very versatile. So you have the listening, you have the typing, you have the speaking. So it's really it gives the teacher a lot of options and opportunities as well to teach the kids different aspects of the language.
Yes, definitely. And not only like for learning languages, because I think, for example, a teacher from I don't know, Spanish or history, he can do like a test where he has his students reading something and then asking comprehension questions. So not necessarily for languages, for mini lesson.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's what we can get to that a little bit later. But if you're talking about the business side of things, maybe that's why you have the Poodle Media and then the Poodle Languages, because that could be translated into 2 different business offers as well.
Well, Poodle, like Poodle Media is for recording audio and video inside Moodle, and this exercise is very different. So it really depends, as we were saying at the beginning of our conversation, on what the person actually needs, and if they need of their students to record themselves in video or in audio, justifying this question, for example,
right,
they can do it using Poodle as well. But if they just want to measure the comprehension of what they read or what they listen or what they watch in a video, mini lesson would be ideal.
So let's see more of these activities.
Okay, like
let's
for mini
look at
lesson
solo.
or for mini
or look at the audio and video recording as well.
Okay, so anywhere you can type in Moodle, if you have Poodle Media, you can record audio and video. So let's do one for the quiz here because it's easy.
Okay.
So this is the quiz. Talk about your family for 30 seconds. Record. My family is a lovely group of people, and etc. 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 So they can listen to their answer. My family is a lovely group of people, and then they upload the answer, and then that would be all. So next page. And now it says hold an object near your device camera and describe it. So this is a mini Rubik's cube and it has monsters, so it was a little bit difficult to build. And actually I didn't hit record. And this is a mini Rubik's cube. It's for my niece. Anyway, and then play, record. And this is a mini, you don't have to watch it. Save. It says awaiting conversion in this part. It's very important for a person who is recording, either the teacher or the student, to see that it's uploaded. Because if it's not, then he will lose the
it won't be saved.
video.
Yeah,
it won't be saved.
So
let's
the
give it
submission won't work, basically.
Yes, uploaded successfully, and then finish attempt, and submit all and finish, submit all and finish. And here we have the transcript. My family is a lovely group of people, and it's that was all. But if it were longer, you can navigate the audio file through the script. That's convenient.
You have a transcription basically that was done automatically. Nice.
So and also, if you notice, it was so like intuitive. Like just click one button and it and you start recording. So
Right.
here, let me show you something. Results.
Now looking at the grades or
Yes,
the results. And this is a regular Moodle quiz that is using the Poodle activity.
correct.
That's perfect. So if we wanted to, we could combine other questions as well that aren't necessarily Poodle questions.
Correct. To make something more complex. Here, video recording. View all submissions.
Okay.
I only have one submission here. Let me go back.
So now you're combining the assignment activity from Moodle with a Poodle solution.
Correct. So that's what I said. Everywhere you can type,
Yeah.
if you had this, you can record in audio or video.
Perfect. So it extends the functionalities or the features of Moodle, which is already a lot, greatly. So that's really empowering teachers and empowering instructional designers who are building courses.
Yes. So let me show you something here that is interesting, and is here we have the transcription of one audio. The teacher can set it up if he wants to record this for 7 days, 36 months, 1 year, whatever. And we have the service on the cloud, so anywhere and everywhere you can access to these files. This was set just to last like 7 days. But here we have a recording, and if you click here in the plus symbol, you can pre-visualize the activity.
There is a boy. He is looking at some steps.
But what I wanted to show you here is that the teacher is going to have all the submissions, and he's going to be able to see that all these people have not sent the homework or have not completed the homework, but these two, they completed it. Yeah. Yeah, there were more recordings, but they are not here anymore. So that's a video and audio recording.
That sounds great. That looks great too.
Thank you.
So we've seen a few of those. I've been curious about the solo, if you could show us that.
Oh yeah, I totally skipped that one. Sorry.
So no worries, no worries. What you've been showing is actually great already. So
Solo is also Solo is also very interesting and easy to create, like really easy. 3 minutes and then the activity is done. Let's take a look at this example. We have 4 steps. Let me show you a different one for the TOEFL because we were talking about it.
Okay.
So in the TOEFL, it has different questions. So the first question is choose from, it's an open question, like what's your favorite childhood memory? And then you start talking. In the second question, they give you 2 options. Do you prefer Samsung or Apple, and why? So we train in this test the students for that. And then in the solo, we have the topic. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Working individually in project is better for learning rather than working in a group. Which do you think is better for the students, and why? Please use examples and details in your response. So that's the question we want our students to answer. We provide target words because, you know, like we want our students to learn. That's the whole goal. But we also provide the tools for them to learn. So we have the vocabulary activity, and here we want them to use some of those words that they learned previously. We can ask them to do a reading passage, like using read aloud, and in read aloud they could be talking about working individually in projects is better than learning in a group, for example. So now it's time for the student to speak, yeah, because he or she already has the resources. We want them to be 60 words. This is customizable, 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever. And this is the question again.
Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Working individually in projects is better for learning rather than working in a group.
one more aspect to mention. This is AI reading the question.
Okay.
And it's very natural. And there are a lot of technologies out there. If you start contrasting, some sound very robotic, but the voices that we use tend to be more natural, more friendly. So then we hit start, and it's time to start recording. So let's do the entire exercise just to see how it works.
All right.
Okay, so in my opinion, I believe that working in a group is more beneficial than working individually for two reasons. First, when you start working in a project individually, you can reach a certain point. But if you work with a group, the goal is going to be different, it's going to be more complex, and it's going to be more enriching because you are going to have the perspective from many different people. Sometimes if you're working just by yourself, you're going to be biased, and that is not going to happen when you work in a group. There are problems when you work in a group because sometimes a person could take over the direction of the group, and just he or she would try to impose her ideas or his ideas, and that is not beneficial. We want to benefit the entire group, and we want to avoid also irrelevant ideas. When you work in a group, you receive feedback from most of the partners, and if everybody is working towards achieving a goal, then the group is going to learn greatly. Anyway, so I know the answer was kind of good because I clearly speak English. I tried to make some mistakes to see the feedback, but when you have a real student giving a real answer, I will show you when we finish this step how a real answer and a real feedback is.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're transcribing what the student says. This step is optional. Here is your voice, so you can listen to it. Okay, and correct the transcription if you want to. So let's give it, I don't know, 45 seconds maybe to wait for the transcription. And in the next step, the students are going to see a sample response. When we provide samples, we provide learning opportunities for the students, and they can enrich their ideas with other possible answers. While this, yeah, let's give it a moment, please.
No problem. Yeah.
So, questions so far?
No, I'm curious to. Oh, there you go. And I'm actually curious to see how the solo activity works.
Okay, so we click on submit. I didn't make any modifications. This is the sample answer.
I disagree with the statement because for two reasons. First, when you're a member of a group, you can get a variety of insights that were unfamiliar to you in the first place.
That's the concept. So this is more of AI, but the teacher can record his voice if he wants to and upload his own sample, or, you know, AI. And the feedback.
All right.
In the feedback, it says that it was an excellent answer.
Yeah.
And here are the
recommendations on.
Yeah, so it says here, first, when you start working on a project, but I said in a project. So that would be one mistake. Reach to a certain point, but you don't have to say reach to a certain point, just reach a certain point. But if you work with a group, however, it's better. And here we're going to see more.
You didn't use all the target word.
Yes, I didn't use all the words. There were too many. So let's see. Words, 188.
That. Yeah.
Come again?
No, I was happy that it actually tells you how many words you use out of the total target words. And then the unique words, and because that also shows you how rich the vocabulary of the person is. So
Yeah,
those are
definitely.
important numbers.
Yes, total sentence, average sentence length, longest sentence, speaking clarity. So there are two aspects that I like a lot on this answer. So if you have a machine grading something, the machine could do something like this. This is very spectacular if you ask me. And it's very, very new for me. And this, the way that you're moving and seeing where the mistake took place, it's super new. And you can say, for example, this is the question, and then you start answering by saying something like, my name is Marco, I am an English language teacher, I am 34 years old, and the grammar is good, the fluency is good, there are no mistakes, but there is something called, also from Poodle, called relevance. Is the answer accurate, or is the answer relevant to the question? So if I were to say something like, my name is Marco, I'm from Colombia, the relevance would be 0.
Right, because you're not addressing the subject here.
Yes, yes. So with this,
which is we tend to do when we don't have the answer and we are kids and we're afraid of saying I don't know, so we tend to blab about something that's irrelevant. So this is really good.
So long story short, it gives you
that's exactly what I was going to ask you about, because it gives you the CEFR, the Common European Framework for reference.
Languages.
Yeah, so that's perfect, because we don't use it a lot in I think North America.
Okay.
Use letter grading, but if we have that, it's especially for placement tests, as I mentioned earlier. I think that's interesting for educational institutions to know what is the language level before they are accepting international students. So sorry,
Yes.
I interrupted you there, but that caught my attention as soon as you scroll down.
Yeah, this is very significant because and one case study of Poodle is a university using Poodll Solo to measure the students' level of English to enter to that university. And because we can get creative, you can have different questions. For example, what's your favorite hobby?
Right.
What's your favorite book? Can you describe it? So those two will receive different answers, and then you can have an average of what the person's level is. But this was done instantaneously. This is amazing. Actually, for me, Poodll Solo is my favorite activity, and having this navigation map, it's pretty awesome.
I
And
personally
you know,
haven't seen it before, but
I have a lot of things to say. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go. Me too. So you know how the read aloud is one of my favorites. I think this is getting to the same level right now. And this is the last time I interrupt you while you're talking about the solo.
No.
Go ahead.
Please continue.
No, that was it. That was really it.
Oh.
But I want to hear more from you.
I like technology. I've been using technology since I was really little. When I started the university, I didn't speak English, and I'm going to tell you a story. I used to work or use software from blind people who reads pages. Nowadays, this technology is everywhere, but 10 years ago, it was not. So I used that software, and the voices were very like boring and hard to follow, and there were different translators that could give you like a grammar evaluation, but this grammar evaluation, this engine is huge, is a state of the art, because how does it know that I was going to say something? Like, let's analyze my answer. So however, instead of but, if you work with a group, the goal is going to be different. It's going to be more complex and enriching, because you are going to, so just will have perspectives, have the perspective, not the perspective, just perspectives. Sometimes if you're working just by yourself, it's suggesting to ignore it, just not to say it by yourself. You may be you're going to bias. Oh yeah, you're going to be is more definite than may, because it's a much more of a possibility. And that's very subtle, you know, that change, because technically, grammatically speaking, you're going to be biased is not wrong, but may is better. So the the level of complexity that it in the feedback that it can provide, it's really amazing. Yeah, that's it.
Comparable to an actual teacher who would be standing in the room with you. Would you say that?
No, I'm talking like about different engines, because a human, if we say a teacher, a professional teacher, he can do this, but now have a teacher do this for 200 students.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's the efficiency that you're talking about here.
And the accuracy.
Right. Right.
Brutal.
Perfect.
Okay. So that's one example. Oh, here, because again, so this is something that I like about Poodle a lot, and is that it enables teachers, it empowers teachers with the access of the technology. We all know that ChatGPT is amazing. How can you have access to ChatGPT with your lessons? You see, like with Poodle, with this technology, we take it from this high complex scenario where, you know, people from Seattle, from where, Palo Blanco, where is it where all the tech companies are?
Well, San Francisco is one of them.
Yeah, like, and the city in San Francisco, or next,
You think in Palo Alto?
probably. Where is Google located? And
we can Google that.
let's Google where Google is. Where is Google headquarters? And view. Something like Sun Valley.
Oh, yes. Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley.
Yes.
So going back.
Sorry, we were blanking. It's the end of the day.
Yeah. Sorry. So Silicon Valley, when you think of having this complex technology, you imagine people in Silicon Valley using it, but now we can have people anywhere in the world with access to internet give their students automatic feedback in the exercise that you want specific for your students. So the fact that it's specific for them or tailored for them, the teacher can study their needs and do something that is meaningful for them. I have one example, and then I'll jump to this. And is I used to have a student who was obsessed with Pokemon. You can actually ask him like, "What's your favorite Pokemon?" And then he would just start saying things about Pokemon, and he would receive feedback on that very specific Pokemon scenario. And here we have the option to be creative. Same technology, but just being creative. Describe the video. You see, there is no complex question. Just watch the video and start describing it. And the process is the same, but the input is slightly different. And here in the next one, because I also think it's very clever. There is a picture, the one that you have to describe. Yeah. Tell the story in the picture. What's happening here? And then you just start talking. And
this is common for language tests.
Yeah. So whatever you want to do with Poodle, or whatever is in your mind, it's very likely that Poodle enables you to complete the activity. So that's Poodle Solo. Comments.
Perfect. No, it looks great. I mean, I didn't know much about the activity before. That's why I was curious about it and asked you to show it to us. So thank you for taking the time to explain this and for being patient with me while I interrupted you so many times. But this actually looks great. And you're an English teacher, so that also helps to get your perspective on it, not just from a technical or a technological point of view.
Yes.
So What else can we look at from the Poodle suite?
Well, I think it's now time to talk about Poodll Media. Oh, actually, we already talked about Poodle Media. Poodle Media is recording a language, audio and video. And we have something called Poodll Languages English Central. English Central is an entire different plugin. And it's very useful because it has three steps. Watch, learn, and speak. So let's watch the video just to take a look at this in 1 minute.
Come on, kid. The best thing about being a veterinary technician, the thing that I love the most, is to be able to help pay animals.
Here is the speed if you want it to be slower. So watch the video. Let's imagine that you watch the video. Then you jump to learn the words. And you can select the words, veterinary, let's say meowing, wagging, and wonderful.
The best thing about being a veterinary technician.
Veterinary. Veterinary technician. So click enter or just continue.
And they're happy and the tail's wagging or they're meowing.
Wagging. I'm going to make a mistake. Enter. So it's this here is called the International Phonetic Alphabet, IPA. I like to teach not everything, but I like to show to tell my students that this exists and how to pronounce some symbols. They can listen to it.
Wagging.
Wagging. And then they can try again. Wagging.
And they're happy and the tail's wagging or they're.
And the last one is where they speak the lines. So let's select 15 lines. That's too many, but let's select that one.
Come on, kid.
And then the student speaks. Come on, kid. And it says that the pronunciation was 100%.
The best thing about being a veterinary technician.
So these symbols that we see here is that somebody did it previously. The person got an 89% of accuracy. And this was a pause. So the best thing about being a pause. And let's do it again. The best thing about being a veterinary technician. So that's English.
The thing that I love the most is.
That's English Central. Watch, learn, and speak. And teachers can choose from like 10,000 videos to create their activities. And you just need to add the code from the video, and that'll be all. So
the video, if you wanted to add a new video today, what do we do? Do we have to upload it here? Can we get a video from YouTube? How does it work?
No, they have their own library. So let me go here to Poodll Languages. So I already activated the edit mode because we're going to do an edition. Add an activity or resource. So we have all the Poodle suite here. So we click on English Central. Name of the activity. When we create this activity, we call it watch, learn, speak. It can be anything, you know?
Of course.
And then how many videos do you want your students to watch? Let's say 1 video. How many words? 5 words. And how many lines? 5. And it says that it's this activity we're creating is going to be for study time 16 minutes.
That is perfect.
And save and display. That's all. And then you click on add video, and here are the codes of the videos. Let's say that we don't have a code. Is there any topic that you may be wondering if there is a video about it?
Let's put basketball, for example.
Basketball is wonderful. So we have 105 items related to basketball, and we also have the levels: advanced, beginner, intermediate. So let's click on the video. I just click there, and that's all. Here it is. So this is how the activity looks on that video. Let's see. Let me go back and play.
Soccer and basketball.
That's how you create an activity using Poodle English Central.
That is pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, I told you, to create activities in Poodle, it's very easy. Having read aloud, yeah. That one you can create it within like 4 minutes. And Poodle Solo, depending on what you want to do, 3 minutes. And it's very like it saves a lot of time, and it's also very powerful for the students to learn because of receiving the automatic feedback.
Right. So would you say in your experience, when teachers are using Poodle, would they use a combination of some of the activities, or is it everything? Or would some activities be combined with others to complete a certain objective?
It really depends on the goals of the institution, as we were discussing a few minutes ago. One school uses just Poodle Solo because they are interested in learning the current level of students, and that is important for assessment. Because if you receive a student and he is A2, and then 3 months go by, or 4, and then they do another Poodle Solo, they can see if they are increasing in level or if they are stuck in the same level, and then they can take action.
Of course.
So that's one usage. Another usage, if we take a at the courses that we offer, um, it's a combination of the different tools because we are really focused on languages. Let's do this one, global issues. So these are the units. This is the format is tiles, and we have English Central videos, which we just saw. We have a mini lesson regarding what is leadership in this case. So let's take a look at the video. What is leadership? And then the questions.
What is the video about?
Check, let's say. No, it's about what leadership means to many people, I think.
According to the video, what describes a leader?
And then speaking time. This is one course, one example. This is Poodll Solo talking about leadership.
Right.
And let me show you another course. Because when you have one course with all the plugins that we offer, it's a very, very powerful course.
And so with all this in mind and all these beautiful features that you showed us today, what do you anticipate, or if you can share with us maybe challenges that you are currently working on or that we should be aware of?
Well, people are requesting having feedback for written assessment. It's kind of easy because we already do the written. We just transcribe the speaking part to do the written, but we don't have it because we are focused on speaking. But people are asking for that, so that could be one element to consider.
Right. So that would be a challenge, you say, or I mean, you guys have that, so it's not really a challenge. But if you say, what are the midterm objectives of Poodle?
The midterm objectives of Poodle. Well, the technology is good, so we want to reach more universities, more people, more institutions worldwide, because everybody around the world is trying to learn different languages. So that's one of the big challenges that we're facing, because reaching a target audience that is so specific, such as Moodle users, and you know that sometimes you don't talk directly to the person who is in charge of the institution, who is also in charge of Moodle and knows about plugins. So that's slightly complex, but that's where we go to Moodle Moods, and we do this kind of activities, and we're also increasing our number of videos on YouTube so that we
Mhm.
can reach a wider audience. But that is complex.
It is a lot of work.
It is.
So if you wanted to provide a message, or if you had somebody from educational institutions and you want to tell them how Poodle can help them, help their teachers, and help their students, what would you say to them?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. So the message that I like and I want people to remember from this video is that when you want to create a course, you need to have all the details and specific of the course. And somebody told me at some point that a course could be just a bunch of PDFs and maybe some videos, and that could be a course. Is it a good course? Not for me. Is a good course something that uses all the plugin features that we just described? For me, it is, because it's engaging. Students receive automatic feedback. Teachers and administrators will see if the person is actually learning. And that, for example, in Colombia, we have always wanted to become a bilingual country, but the level language of English speaking people here is very low. I don't remember the numbers exactly, but it's very low. And the people who speak English speak like B1 level, so that's pre-intermediate. And if countries like Colombia or any country in Latin America were to want to use or to boost the English level of their speaking citizens, so Poodle is the solution to go.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a great message. And then you quickly touched on an interesting point when you said a course that has a bunch of PDF and videos, and that's something that we also try to talk about whenever we have the chance, because there's a learning curve when using a learning management system, be it Moodle or another one. But there's a transition phase when going from the non-digital to digital, and then yet even in the digital world, we still see some teachers using or relying a lot on PDFs and not so engaging resources. And that's not very helpful. That's why the tools like Poodle and interactive activities like H5Ps are really what should be used, I think, in courses, because then you have engaged audiences and you have better rates, better grades, and you can see and gauge improvement versus non-interactive activities like PDFs or even videos without any interactivity on them. You don't really know if people are watching the videos because they could have the video on and then playing with their phones. There is no assessment within the video or after the video. So that's something we try to advocate for as well when we're talking to educators.
Yes, it is a big challenge that we face because the attention span of people is dropping.
Mm-hmm.
But Poodle makes activities engaging and makes learning fun.
Absolutely, I agree. So let's say I'm a principal or a teacher who saw this video, and now I'm interested. What do I do? How do I contact you?
Okay, so you can go to www.poodle.com and you can try out the features in Poodle. You can sign up for an account, and we will give you a free trial for 30 days, and you can install Poodle inside your LMS, and you will receive an API and a secret code. So with those two, you will be good to go. So you can start now by doing that, and you can always book a call with any of the Poodle members, and you can also download the plugins directly from the Moodle store, from the plugin section, and those would be the three ways to contact us, or just send us an email for my email is marco@poodle.com, or just woof@poodle.com, and we will contact you back.
I like the wolf reference. I'm a
Yes.
big Office fan, so that's a great one. Now, if I am in touch with somebody, say a partner of Poodle, like Markanyx, I can just contact Markanyx and they will also set me up with everything I need. Isn't that right?
Yes, Markanyx is our partner in Canada. So if you are located in Canada, just contact Kais from Markanyx and they will be more than happy to help you.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, do you have anything else to add, Marco?
Well, if you think that creating the courses is a hassle, we have created over 120 courses that are pretty much ready to drag and drop inside your Moodle system, and you'll have them. So that'll be all.
That's amazing. Over 120 courses.
Yes, and you saw that when we created one video, it was like 15 minutes of practice. Now imagine having 120 courses with multiple Poodle activities. So that is, I don't want to say an exact number, but that is hours for sure of learning with automatic feedback. That is pretty meaningful.
That's a lot of work for the students too. That's great. Perfect.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Marco. It's been a pleasure. See you
Thank
next
you,
time.
guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.